Hey guys, so I'm just gonna be continuing with some of the Spanish that I was showing you from the other videos, and I'm just gonna repeat what I already said before. I'm not really that good at explaining stuff about Spanish. I teach English usually, not Spanish, so I'll just do my best from what I understand and know. So anyway, today we're gonna talk about nouns, and this is how you say nouns in Spanish. It's sustantivo. And a noun is an object, una cosa, un animal, an animal, una persona, or a person. So, it's nouns in Spanish. It's important to understand that we have what you call artículos determinados, which is el, la, los, and las. And this is basically just the equivalent of the, like in English when you say the movie or the dog, the cat, like that. It's just the. So anyway, when you have a singular object, you use el. I just put in my pen. El for masculine words because, and la for feminine words because in Spanish, there are words that are masculine and words that are feminine. So these two mean the, but it's just you use this for words that end with an O, and you use this that words with an A usually, but also with words that end with DAD, CION, SION. So I have some examples for you. So we have el perro and el gato. So el perro is masculine because it ends with an O. So it's the dog. El gato, it ends with an O, so it's the cat. And then we have la casa, which is the house. La taza, the cup, the mug, I guess. But we use la because it ends with an A. And this also ends with an A, so as you can see. And they're singular, like I already mentioned. There's only one of them. But when I want to talk about plurals, it is different. In Spanish, I say los for masculine words. Sorry, that was me yawning. And las for feminine words. So, for example, los perros is the dogs. Los gatos is the cats. But again, you see the end with an O. And we added an S to make it plural, but we use los. It is an O, by the way, because it kind of messed up. And then las is with the letter A, and this is for more feminine words that end with an A. So, for example, las casas, las tazas is the houses and the mugs. So this is plural, right? But it's still the, because I know it's a little more complicated in Spanish because in English we just use the, but here you use all these, la, los, or las. And then we have, this is determined, by the way. This means that when I use these in Spanish, the other person already knows what I'm talking about, because we both know, for example, the same dog. We were both looking at the same house in these examples, right? This person already knows what I'm talking about. That's why they're called determinados, because they are determined. They are specific. So that means that the other person is always going to know what I'm talking about, or I assume that they know what I'm talking about, or we're both looking at the same object, animal or person, or there's only one of them. For example, in Spanish, we would say, let me just unscrew this. We would always say el sol, which means the sun. And this is always going to be with el because it's always it's always specific because there's only one sun. So of course the other person knows what I'm talking about, which sun I'm talking about when I say it, because there's only one. So yeah, it'll always be el. Or la luna, there's only one moon, that we know of, that we can see. So because the person will always know what I'm talking about, I'll always use él and I'll always use la. I'm never going to use one of these, which I'll get to in a minute. So artículos indeterminados means like a random object. It means that it's not specific. I don't really know which one you mean. So for example, when you say un masculino, when I say un, it's because the next word is going to be masculine, which means that it's going to end with an O. So for example, I say un perro, un gato. This means like, this is like a or an. So this is like a dog. It says right here, a cat. Una is followed by a feminine word, so that means it ends with an A. So una casa is a house. Una taza, a mug. Sorry. And I'm not sick, by the way. I just have like allergies or something. Because I've been sleeping with my AC on all night these days, and it's been pretty, yeah. Anyway, so that's but when that's singular, right? When we're talking about one, a dog. But when I talk about plurals, I use unos for masculine words, so that means it ends with an O. And unas for feminine words, that means it ends with an A. For example, unos perros is like some dogs. Unos gatos, some cats. Unas casas, some houses. And unas tazas, some mugs, because I know you don't use with plurals, but in Spanish you do use these. Singular, plural, singular, plural. So, for example, going back to this example, like I said, it'll always be el sol because there's only one in existence that we know of. So, it's never gonna be like un sol unless it's something super random. Like, but you usually never see this. Because I'm thinking I might say un sol if I say I'm going to draw. Voy a dibujar un sol. I'm going to draw a sun. That would make sense. Because I want to draw a random sun. That's not the same sun that gives heat. But when I talk about the sun that you know, that you can see in the sky, it'll always be él. And la luna as well. Every time you talk about the moon, the one that we all know, it'll always be la. Which I think is kind of similar in English, right? We usually say the sun and the moon. But it's just an example of specific, and here are more examples about specific and non-specific things. Look, for example, we already said él or la is for specifics, and un y uno is for not specific. So here we have an example specific. Tengo una casa, which means I have a house. La casa es blanca. The house is white. The house, I mean this one, the one that I have. So that's why it's la. Specific, because I'm being specific about this house. But for example, if I say something like quiero una casa blanca, I want a white house, just any house, it would be una, not specific. Because I don't want one specifically, I just want it to be white. I just don't care about anything else. Here's another example. If I say vi, which means I saw, because remember, we already said in the other video, the normal sentence is yo vi, but in Spanish we don't usually mention yo, so I dropped the I, and it's just like I saw. So anyway, this is past, right? This is I saw a house, vi una casa. But if I say I saw my aunt's house, vi la casa de mi tía. So it's la, because it's specifically my aunt's house. That's the one I saw. And this one, it's like you don't know which one I saw. It's just like I just saw a house, a random house. Here are more examples. If I say ve, which means go to, ve a el escritorio, go to the desk. Ve a un escritorio, go to a desk, any desk. That means that I don't care which one. And in this one, when I say él, I mean I want you to go to this one specifically. But if I say un, that just means I don't care which desk you go to. And finally, we have this example where it says, ¿Dónde está mi lápiz? Which is, where is my pencil? en el escritorio. It's in the desk. Like, we know which desk, right? Or en un escritorio. It's in a desk, like a random desk. That means that I don't know which one. So yeah, that's all for today, guys. I'm kind of tired. It's pretty late at night. I finished work about an hour ago and I had dinner, and then I just decided to do this video for you before I went to bed. So I have to get up early tomorrow to go to the gym. So I guess I'll just go to bed right now. And yeah, just let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time.